Let me tell you how you know you're living in the right place when pulling off a main road onto 6 acres of family land at 5 in the evening feels better than any therapy money can buy. Sun still up over the trees, shadows cutting across gravel windows, down radio off. And just for a second, you forget the world is out there waiting to ruin your day. At least that's how it should go, right? Well, picture this. 2 weeks in Arizona doing consultant work. Can't wait for peace and quiet. But as I come around the bend toward my shop, I see a white truck parked in the grass. Big old HOA logo painted right on the side, and 4 people poking around like they own the place. If you want a punchline, here it is. Nothing ruins your mood faster than orange vests and a clipboard on your lawn. They didn't look up as I parked. There's a certain kind of silence folks carry when they think the paperwork is on their side. The woman in the Maple Creek Reserve polo, the kind of person who probably has team leader stitched on her pillowcase, finally turns and gives me a look like I just tracked mud into her wedding. "You must be Mr. Draper," she says, clutching that clipboard like it's the nuclear codes. "That's right," I tell her, "and this is private property." "What exactly do you think you're doing?" Kid surveyor, maybe mid-20s, shuffles back like he's expecting trouble. But Clipboard Queen isn't fazed. She smiles cold as a banker and says, "We're with Maple Creek Reserve HOA. Based on our latest parcel revisions, your house is encroaching 3 feet into the communal easement. We're surveying to document it." You ever hear something so dumb you forget how to talk? I laughed. She didn't. She starts quoting boundary overlay filings and adjusted topographic data off her tablet. Says it's all standard and that they'll need me to move the structure 3 feet left. "You want me to move my entire house?" I ask. Now I'm almost shouting. "Do you hear yourself?" One of the surveyors, older guy tan like an old baseball mitt, shrugs and mumbles. "We just follow the specs." I said, "You're trespassing. And unless you have a court order, I'd leave before I call the sheriff." The woman bristles. She's not used to hearing no, but I'm not kidding. I pulled out my phone and started dialing the county. They didn't argue. By the time the deputy rolled in, they were already packing up the woman, muttering about non-cooperative stakeholders under her breath. I showed the cop my markers, my deed, my framed 1971 plat map. He tells them to get lost. Simple as that. Except it wasn't. That night I sat out on my porch with a bourbon and a stack of property documents. I couldn't shake the feeling this wasn't just a dumb mistake. These people looked too organized, too confident. Next morning, I filed formal complaints with the assessor, the land registry, and the zoning board. Asked for every document about Maple Creek's parcels in the last 6 months. I've seen construction scams before. This one smelled worse than a week-old trout. 2 days later, I'm sitting at my kitchen table, drowning in coffee mugs and dread, when an email lands. It's the county. There's a boundary revision for Maple Creek filed June 12th. When I open it, I swear I thought my eyes were broken. There's my property line, but now a strip along the east side, my parking area. A chunk of the workshop has turned pastel green with HOA community easement shared access written on it. Like somebody cut a slice out of my land for a birthday party and forgot to ask permission. First thought, must be a clerical error. Then I see the signature at the bottom, marked Tadlock County Cadastral Coordinator. Husband of Clipboard Karen. Now my teeth are grinding. I call the registry office, get a receptionist who sounds about 100 years tired. Maple Creek submitted a supplemental survey and historical boundary confirmation. She drones. With archival proof that this was always intended as a subdivision road corridor. Archival proof, I say. From where the Twilight Zone scanned news article and a historical plat. She sends them while we're still on the phone. I open the files. One is a black and white newspaper clipping from 1972, headline about a developer expanding road access, photo of 2 guys shaking hands, bell bottoms and all. But you know what's weird? The newspaper's name doesn't exist. Font's too crisp. PDF metadata says it was made 8 days ago. They forged history, just straight up made up a past to suit their needs. Now, if there's one thing Karen and her husband didn't count on, it's me knowing my way around blueprints. I pulled my dad's old tube out of the closet inside original 1971 Platt State Surveyors, Inc. No HOA, no easement, nothing but clean lines. I scanned it, geotagged everything, and sent it to my attorney with the subject line, "We have forgery." Whatever this was, it wasn't just a land dispute, it was fraud. The next day, I hired Joel Howarth. Old school surveyor guy has a tape measure longer than my truck. We walk the lines, check every monument, every concrete pin from the 70s, everything matches. Not one marker out of place. But then, near the East Pines, we find something new. A 12-foot wide graveled path curving right through my property. I'd been gone 2 weeks, and now there's a road. We follow it 60 yards across my land, merging into the back entrance of Maple Creek. Clean, fresh gravel. New drainage cut. Somebody built a bypass on my land for their shortcut. Worse, it's through a designated environmental zone, which makes it a federal offense, not just trespassing. Joel's jaw drops. They built through a watercourse buffer without permits. That's a federal screw-up. My lawyer and I file with the EPA Army Corps and the state. That night, I walked the road flashlight in hand, thinking about all the footprints buried in that dirt, people thinking they could bulldoze my rights and get away with it. Well, not this time. A week later, I'm served papers at breakfast to cease and desist from the HOA lawsuit, demanding I vacate all structures on their easement. They want me to move my house 3 feet like it's a lawn chair, even include photos of my fence and car, labeled violations. I call Vanessa, my attorney. She says time to counterattack. We file suit for trespassing, fraud, illegal land development, environmental damage, attach the original plat, Joel's survey drone footage, and the phony news articles metadata. Then Vanessa subpoenas all HOA and county communications. She figures out what I already suspect. Mark Tadlock, Mr. County Coordinator, pushed this through the system on the sly. Here's the twist. One of the HOA's own Teresa Mullins reaches out. She's the treasurer, and she's had enough of Karen's antics. She leaks us meeting notes, emails, and there's the smoking gun. Karen writing Shane's place is a relic. Land serves better as access for north lots. Just let the new map do its job. Mark replies, push it as a correction. Nobody'll flag it. Bury under historical adjustment. They're not hiding it. They're betting no one will fight back. Our suit lands and the court freezes the HOA. No more work, no more legal threats until the hearing. Karen loses her mind, puts out a newsletter calling me a rogue property owner holding the community hostage. I print it out and use it to line my chicken coop. Local press gets wind pretty soon. Private road sparks public lawsuit is on everyone's lips. 3 days before the hearing, I pull down a bit of fence near the illegal road stick, up a sign, temporary access granted pending resolution. Looks like surrender, really. I just want to see who'll take the bait. Joel and I hide trail cams. Contractors show up, widen the road, fresh gravel over protected runoff. Within hours, I have everything on video. And right on cue, a black SUV with EPA agents and the Army Corps rolls up. They shut down the work on the spot. Citations, impounded equipment, Karen shrieking over the phone. I don't even try to hide my grin. Courtroom time. Judge Garrow runs a tight ship, warns everyone about fraud. Vanessa lays out the case, original plat, Joel's testimony, drone footage, the fake newspapers, metadata, and Teresa's bombshell testimony. Judge's eyebrow ticks when she hears clarify public perception. By the time the EPA letters and the Army Corps' findings roll in, Karen's lawyer is practically melting into his seat. Judge rules all boundaries restored, illegal road demolished, $850,000 in damages, environmental restoration by the HOA, and referral for criminal prosecution. As we're leaving, 2 plainclothes feds approach Karen and her husband. She looks at me, part fury, part disbelief, like she finally realized the rules apply to her too. County issues a statement, Maple Creek HOA, under federal investigation. Within weeks, class action lawsuits from residents pile up. The HOA's dissolved bank accounts, frozen road, ripped up land reseeded. Liberty Hollow, I call it now, open trails, no board, no mailbox police, just sky and trees and peace. The old-timers show up, help rebuild the fence, swap stories. Turns out a lot of folks suspected Karen's games, but didn't dare speak up until now. Last I heard, Mark's working night security at a strip mall. Karen's ranting in an HOA reform group online with more spam bots than real members. I got a pin from the EPA that says Environmental Defender. I keep it in my tool belt for laughs. A reporter came by, asked what advice I'd give folks fighting HOA overreach. I said, know your land, know your law, and don't let anyone in a polo shirt convince you bureaucracy means ownership. She laughed. Wrote it down, headed out under the new stone arch I had set up, carved with, if you're reading this, you're already on my land. Now you know how that ends. Tourists think it's a joke. Locals, they know better. So here's my question. What would you have done if someone tried to steal a slice of your world with nothing but a forged map and a smug smile? Drop your answer below. And if you've ever fought a battle like this, tell us how it turned out. Because trust me, you're not alone. And sometimes the fight is worth every bruise and every ounce of paperwork.